Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever. We will be, I guess today I could consider a maintenance sort of episode. I want to make sure things are functioning at kind of close to 100% capacity for a little while. We have a major, I guess, problem almost with this intersection here. So you can see this main freight depot, which all of our ground vehicles are currently using to service these three towns up in the mountains. As well as I like it, this interchange has always been a little bit of a sore spot with me. I never really like the way it looks. It also doesn't really function that well. A lot of the stopping points are too short. And basically, if I leave it alone long enough, what'll happen is trains will just get backed up on this major junction and interchange and end up just totally wrecking havoc. And if I'm not paying attention to fix it, then it can be a pain. And also, plus, it might not be an easy fix. Yeah, food processing plant needs more, well, food to process. Anyways, so the easiest thing to do would be to just go ahead and delete basically all these junctions. That's the fix I am basically coming up with now. And I'm just going to rework exactly how this all connects together because I can think we can get something a little bit more smooth in the long run. Now, as you know, when this was originally made, we basically stopped the line here and then we had to make it connect all the way up to that town. So what I'm going to do is try and make the main line track go ahead and connect more from the southern direction rather than the north up here, and that'll hopefully ease some of my traffic concerns. Let's just delete all this lovely stuff through here. Alright, and you know, why not just all the way? Okay, I'll go ahead and flatten this out. Right? Kind of recover some of the scarring. I might keep some of it just as a remnant, right? Some remnant history for our save here. And there's some pieces of track still remaining here and there. That's no good. Gotta delete all of those as much as possible. Alright. So as you can see, the terrain we're working with is a little uneven. There's this big slope. So what I want to do initially is to just go ahead and lower a lot of this, just so we have a better terrain to work with. Now you'll probably noticing that this isn't really the best job of terrain sculpting that I've ever done, but hopefully with the smooth tool kind of going along here, we can make this smooth as butter. There we go. Alright, so what I would like to see is, well, just enough room for multiple trains to interact with this station. As you know, it can get a little backed up with the freight trains, so we are going to extend the entryway into the station quite a bit there, and we will also, let's see, I think change, kind of measuring with my hand on the screen here, how the crosses kind of happen. So we'll do it basically right up here, just like that, so they can change lanes. Otherwise, they're basically locked into here, which is fine. At that point, let's go ahead and get this line hooked up. Kind of vertical element, so we will basically just come straight over to where the town is. Terrain alignment collision. Oh, it does not like that because there's that piece there. See, you got to make sure you get all the pieces of a lot of these things. Alright, so that is going to be a much more direct route up to here. Alright, so the passenger trains can kind of be dealt with a little bit easier. And let's see. Now the freight, what we'll do is probably create a multiple junction-like element here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and push down the terrain. Pretty much right here. On either side of the track. Alright, and we're just gonna go ahead and delete a few elements. And we'll go ahead and kind of force a bit of a bridge. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's see, it's M. Alright, so we're just gonna force this as high as possible. Just like that. We will bring a lot of the track pretty much straight under it. If we can even really get that sloping down enough. Let's see. Doesn't really like that idea, I don't think. As you can see, this spot here is still just not steep enough to make a bridge. So this might not be the idea we go with. You know, I probably could have pre-planned this out a little bit better, but you know, that's just kind of how these things usually go at this point, isn't it? It's just Uthris. Why don't we try a different solution? So instead of that, let's run the main line a little bit closer to the freight. And I guess we'll just try and make everything have one simple interchange. So let's do it this way. I'll fix the scarring in the terrain afterwards, I think. So what we'll do, yeah, I think that'll work. So let me fix this terrain a bit. Oh. Oh wow, that's the biggest I can make this brush. That's fine. We'll go ahead and fix that. And I will say, Transport Fever is a great game. Wish the terrain tools were a little bit stronger. Alright, there we go. So we'll just come along here and I'll make it kind of even for a bit. Just directly parallel to these tracks. And then we'll go ahead and do a nice big bend. Need to maintain that 100-mile-an-hour mark. Alright. And from here, I should be able to just simply do this. Alright, and then same on the other direction. Or maybe not. Might not like that solution, actually. We're crossing too many tracks at once, I think, with this one. Does it really not like this? I would have thought it would have handled this junction quite nicely if we did it this way. Alright, if that isn't going to cut it. What I might have to do, combine these onto just two. And then split them and sort them afterwards, so. Combine it just like that. Ooh, no, the train doesn't like that at all. Hold on. I'm running into a problem where these... Alright, there we go. I just want to make this junction as long as... No, see, that just... Not right either. If I start on the side. Is that better? I mean, we're getting some weird separation here. But you know what? It might work simply due to once we complete the right side, that junction might not float anymore. It might not look as weird. Yeah, that's a bit better. Okay, so right now, everything basically up to here, sharing just the 2 lanes. Bit of a smoother junction going across there, and now we just simply add this curve so that it can merge on these and be okay. It's not much different than what we really had before. I would say it's actually quite similar. But I think it just gives us enough room now to kind of function in a different way. Alright, now the run-up is a little bit longer to this whole area. So we shifted it from this really tight bend to something a little bit more gradual, and then it gets filtered off to either side. Main line just simply continues straight up here, and then we'll get that to join to go straight up into Middleton. So that took a bit longer than I really wanted it to. So we'll hit play, let that train that's currently taking up the track space kind of do its thing. Smooth out as much of the train as possible here. I don't think there's anything I can do to the train right there. That's basically a lost cause when it comes to aesthetic. And you know, I'm fine with keeping some of the scarring in the terrain there. Now, you know, as you know, this line doesn't need to curve to the south, so we don't need to bring it into this station or anything like that. So this should be fine. And basically all we are going to do in terms of signals here is that if there's anything in this junction at all, go ahead, wait for it to filter through. And that's it. Very straightforward, simple. And it should work out just fine. Alright. Now we need to reconnect these. As soon as we do that, a lot of that flashing red light there at the top should go away. There we go. So we're basically back like this. So this is just a cleaner junction than before. Go ahead and get some longer signals in there. Cool. So that should work. Let me speed up time here. just so we can see some things go through, how it's all going to filter out. Now, it's probably going to create a little bit of a longer wait period if there are trains in this large junction area. But I'm fine with that because I'd rather them wait a little bit longer and actually make it through than wait forever and never make it through. So right now it seems to be working just fine. How about when these two come in at the same time? Just fine. How about when there is a train? See, this is a bit of an issue. So this train here with oil, let's go where this train with oil went. And so it has to wait until that one really totally empties out its cargo. But this holding area can only hold one train at a time. So that means basically they just kind of single file the way through, and it should function nicely. So there we go. It's probably still an ugly junction, but it's effective, and nonetheless, at least hopefully more effective than we had. Big plans though, because I want to continue the route down the river here, and eventually start servicing these two towns. But in the meantime, I still want to 100% complete shipping to all the towns that we have now. I want to get them to 100%, everything kind of going through here. So we do have very little bread coming down to here. We've got 50% bread kind of being shipped down to here. That's bread up in Southport, 66%. And Middleton is currently at 74%. So we have some more room for bread to come on up. So let's go ahead and just purchase another bread car from this place. And in fact, I could even get some additional bread to the original factory that we had here. I don't know how necessary it is, but it could be done as well. So let's just start with this at this large junction. And I don't think I have a depot there. Seems a little weird to have a junction without a depot. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and buy a train. And, you know, we don't have any real fancy diesels. This is a diesel electric. It could be cool to use this. This is kind of a new train. It's the NOHAB AA16. Kind of cool looking. So, you know, why don't we just use this? Something new. And wagons, just a good wagon. So we will get some food, and I think 100 is 20 meters. Is about what we need. Now for the line, I forget the name of this, so we'll have to kind of find it here. I think it's line 14. Alright, so line 14 is underway. We'll see this thing come out of the station. It looks pretty good. It's a pretty good looking train, if I say so myself. Details right now, top speed 120 kilometers an hour. See if it can actually get up there, how fast it accelerates. It accelerates pretty nicely, I would say, and this is a nice straightaway for it to really get up there. It has to slow down in that corner. I might have to kind of fix some of the wobbleness of this track through here, but overall, it's fine. 80 kilometers an hour is okay through there, especially due to the terrain. So we're gonna get more food vehicles going along here. And what we might have to do is end up just really bulking up our vehicle fleet even more. Sadly, still don't have a new new transport vehicle. It's only 1957, so I suppose we haven't come out with a proper semi just yet, but we'll see if it gets done. You know, I think it's time too that we kind of up production of wood and timber. So, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and buy another timber train. We'll just use this one again. This is fine. Okay, wagons. Let's get the state car here for logs. There we go. You. Oop. Got my side pan key stuck there. So logs come from here. This area. As you can see, not producing a whole lot just yet, but we can see if we can go ahead and fix that. So we're gonna go grab some more logs, and we will also, if I can get more planks shipped, that would be ideal. So let's take a look at this depot here. So line 7 and line 9. So, line 7, this is what's carrying the planks over to the actual goods plant. And then we have 4 vehicles or so kind of carrying placements. Carrying logs. We're going to replace all the vehicles for this one, just so they get updated and carry specific logs. I don't know why this one was carrying oil over to it. It's really not, it makes no sense to do that. And we'll go ahead and probably purchase two new trucks. It's such a short route though. Traffic is starting to get a little tense. I might have to add another depot. I don't even know if that really functions, to be honest. Like, if I were to add another depot specifically for a different resource, would this train station know to use it? I have no idea. Let's go ahead and just buy 2 of these. So, logs, buy. Set line all. So southbound. They're still yelling at us to ship some more food and things. Tell you what, we're gonna go ahead and give this a shot. I'm just curious to see if this will work. So you can see a major traffic jam is right there. So what I wouldn't mind doing, this is gonna be such a mistake. I don't know. I'm thinking about making a little bit more of a proper like depot, so the traffic can get split off a little bit cleaner. I think that would be a good idea. We just arrived. Oh, there goes our diesel passenger train there. Man, even the interstate junction. A little hectic. Have some more oil. Now, what are we turning most of our oil into? Definitely more heat rather than oil. This thing needs a lot more trucks going to it. So, for example, line 5 and line 8. So pink is obviously going over to the goods factory. A decent amount, could use some more. So line 5 and 8, let's get 5 more for 5 and 5 more for 8. So there's line 5. 1, 2, 4, 5, and 8. There's line 8. Probably really not going to help much, to be honest. And it's not overly helpful with our traffic here that there are still some other cars using it. And so I'm almost tempted, this whole road right here, I'm almost tempted to get rid of it and just force them onto the highway. That might help. Like I can keep it going over direct route here, but get rid of this whole section. That might help. But you see, they also use this to get over to there. It's just interesting. It's interesting the pathing choices the game uses a lot of the time. I mean, what if... Basically, I would just, maybe I could just reroute this whole road. Hold on 1 second. Because if I can make it long enough, they might not want to use it. So let's go straight across here. Bit, get a curve. And then this side, get a curve. Much more like this. So that might change the dynamic of the road system a little bit. It might help. It might not help. I really don't know how that's going to affect things. But I definitely don't mind making the roads a little bit more beautiful. In fact, let's just go ahead and do that here too. Kind of force them to follow the tracks a little bit more. Be something cool. that way. Let's see. Let's maybe do it from this side. So. Let's connect it here, straight to there. Curve it straight. How sharp of a junction do we make here? I think that's how. Here you can see the traffic building up in the new interchange. But it will sort itself out. Alright, not bad. Now, I think that did actually probably didn't help the traffic at all. It looks about the same. What route are you on? The Class V100, new vehicle. We got two trains staring each other down. This can happen at this depot quite a lot. And really the only thing I can do to force this to be fixed is simply change the signaling. So I'll force these to be one-ways. Go ahead and turn that around. And force these to be one-ways. Flip it. And now you can see the bread shuttle currently wants to go the long way around, simply due to changing that. But I would prefer it to be delivering the short way, so what we'll do is we'll switch this to line 1. Alright, and that'll rotate this whole train around eventually. We could also do a turnaround at a section as well. So hopefully it would kind of just turn around in a section and then just go back the other way, but may not be doable in our current setup. Though I do know, I'd much rather it with an empty cargo load go this way around. It is probably a good bit longer than I wanted to, but we can maybe just run some more trains. That would probably fix it. I could argue. Let's see. Yeah, this thing is just a mess. It's just not efficient to use cars for any of this stuff. At least not yet. So maybe we'll stop messing around with the cars for a little while until we get maybe some newer freight trucks. That would be a good idea. I mean, we already have a highway system set up, so that's not going to go anywhere. It's infrastructure already built. But we can go ahead and think about moving some construction components. So construction components from Hailzone is at 94%. That's basically best as you can kind of get it. If we go over to Sandhurst, 89%. Heartland, 31%. So basically what that tells me is we can fit one new train going up to Heartland with construction components. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'm gonna keep using this new locomotive. Wagons, so construction components, and get that up to about 120. Set line. And it's the Sandhurst constructor line, I believe. Right? Yes, so it is that red line. So we'll let this train come on out and then flip her around. So it'll go back straight into the station. Yes. So it'll instantly grab some construction components. There. Alright. And the Southport construction transfer. For some reason, this is just not functioning quite as well as I would like. You know, load if available and unload only out Southport. We just have no construction components going to this side of the train. It's odd. Yeah, I don't know why the construction components never really get sorted out here to go, you know, either to route A or B, but, you know, it's an interesting sort of thing at that point. And what I wouldn't mind as well is to start shipping goods from this location over. So let's go to this goods area. And the Southport goods transfer. Kind of what I'm looking for. So if we do this, you can see we only have about 4 cars doing the Southport goods transfer. So we're just going to go ahead and update that to quite a lot more. Good. That is pretty good. Let's just go ahead and do a quick review. We're basically coming to the end of the episode, so you guys can see. Let's take a look. So right now, our kind of boat line is still probably our most profitable. This is construction components, right? Almost 3 million a year from that. We get the first minor passenger train, giving us almost $500,000. This little loop here, just to try and get more passengers. It's a negative, but really I just count these two to combined. So that's kind of that figure. Same thing with the bread company. The bread company is doing okay, not as great as it used to. But, you know, bread in the area must be going downwards. We're getting about 3 million now from the Halesoe and Middleton loop. The diesel train is doing a lot of work for us. So that's good. I'm happy that's finally starting to pay off. Line 1, this is our main grain processing, the original one. That's giving us about 2 million. That's pretty good. We're getting 6 million from oil. Now, that's profitable. We're getting about 2.5 million from stone. Anything else really noteworthy? We have a bunch of these little vehicles. As you can see, this is really where the highway system is, and they're all in the green. Isn't that much, but it does add up to probably not quite 1 million and change, but it's getting there. We're getting about 500,000 from just shipping cows. We're getting about 7.76 million shipping the grain up to this depot to be shipped back out into these towns. So that's actually way more profitable than I thought it would be. We're getting about 2 million for the Sandhurst constructor line. So that's finally starting to pay dividends. Minus $1 million on the Southport construction line. That's the one that's giving us problems. More good transfers. That's working. I'm surprised this little taxi route's giving us 36K. It's kind of rare to see taxi routes do really well. Oh wow, these ones are doing good too. Yeah, so the ones going around in this big loop here is just making us some nice little profits. Right now we're making about, we did 8 million the year before. We bought a lot of stuff this one, so I'm just gonna go ahead and repay basically my whole loan down here. That we have some liquid to grab later. We're just down to 13 million. We're debt free and we're doing really well. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this episode here of Transport Fever. Still a lot to do before we're even really complete with the map. I think next episode, just continuing work in this upper region. We're gonna get everything shipped over here. That's what we're gonna do next episode. 100% complete these towns. And then we'll think about expansion. So with that, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are enjoying the content, feel free to subscribe for more creative goodness such as this. Hit that like button, and I'll see you all in the next episode.